So for this video, I will be showing how we can use variables inside of our VBA code. And as I stated before, variables are used to store values, and then we can use those variables in different lines of our code. So for this example, we are basically going to do the same thing in the previous video, but this time use variables. So let's create a new sub and call it use var, which is short for variable. So remember, when we are using variables, it's good practice to declare your variables. So to declare a variable, we have to type in dim and then give our variable a name. I'm just going to put my var, and then we need to specify what we want to declare this variable as. Well, for this example, let's declare it as variant. And by declaring this variable as a variant, that means our variable can store many different values. It could be an integer, it can be a number that contains decimal places, a date value, a string of text, and so on. So instead of using range C2 like we did up here in our user IB sub, we are now going to use a variable. So we can type in my var equals, and I will just come up here and copy. You can just select OK for now and copy this part of the code using Control C, then Control V to paste. And now our variable equals whatever we put inside the input box. And then let's create a message box displaying what we inserted into the input box. So I'm going to come back up here and copy this line of code, Control C, then Control V to paste. And instead of retrieving the value from cell C2, we are going to use our variable. So we can delete range C2 and just type in our variable, which is my var, then close parentheses. So now if we run this sub, it's going to prompt us for our input box. Let's put 25, and if we click OK, now our message box says the value that you entered is 25. So this is how you use variables inside of your VBA code. Because what we inserted into our input box, our variable stored and saved that value, and then we were able to use that value in a different part of our VBA code by using our variable. Now really quickly, let me show you why it's important to declare your variables correctly. So let's click OK. And let's say that we declare my var as date. So that means our variable can only store date values. So if we try to run this sub again, and instead of a date value, we enter a text value, just saying hello, if we click OK, we get an error saying type mismatch. And if we click debug, it highlights the line of code where our code is breaking, so we know that there is something wrong with this line. And because our error said type mismatch, is because whatever we typed in the input box didn't match the value type that we declared our variable as. So if we change this back to variant, we should be good to go. And we will get into more proper ways on how to debug our code, but for this video, I mainly wanted to show you how we could declare a variable and then use that variable inside of our code.